So today I'm going to talk about belief systems and fears that keep us in the state of separation. It's not a simple issue. We think, oh, I just have a fear and I can just get over it. A lot of people tell us that, just get over it. Well, sometimes we can and other times we can't. If it's something that keeps us from truly being ourselves, it's going to be challenging. These fears are part of the human condition, and probably since the beginning of time. This fear of separation, it's wired into our genetic code, and it's what brings forth the alpha male and female, and it shows up in our families and societies as a system of ranking individuals. Just what we don't want to have. Someone is above us or below us. This is hierarchy. This creates ranking and separation amongst us. We give up our personal authority to others and their judgments of us and the world around us. And the thing about this separation, this fear, is that it's so insidious that we don't realize that we're living it. And if we do realize we're living it, we don't realize we're doing it ourselves. It shows up in every level of our lives. When you become aware of this, it will really surprise you. Maybe not in a very pleasant way either, especially if you don't feel like you're doing it. We are divided by race, social standing, financial levels, political beliefs, and religious choices, just to name a few. In our politics, we believe in different leaders, not only because of their political rhetoric, but because they look a certain way, or they have a way of speaking that we like, or that makes us feel good, even if their actions are completely different from their words. They may not act as leaders, and we still forgive them because they fit a certain mold. What is it in us that makes us follow certain people instead of listening to our own divine guidance? How come some of us become leaders and some of us don't? Well, we learn this from a very young age, perhaps the moment of birth, when we need food and our mother or father is there or not to feed us. They are our first archetype. We receive nourishment and nurturing from them, from another, someone outside of ourselves, from our parents. Is leadership part of our makeup, or is it learned behavior? Good thought, something that we all need to ponder. Some of us are programmed to be leaders, in my opinion, and others are programmed to be followers. What do you think? What does a true leader do? In my world, a true leader should empower others in their field, in what they do and who they are. They're inspirational in helping others come into their full potential. Because of our upbringing, we allow others to tell us what to do and how to do it and when to do it. We let people, quote, have power over us. We're not really in control of our lives when we do this. And there are two kinds of power. There's the power that comes from force and the power that is inspired by love, that supports you to be and do your best for yourself and for the good of the whole. I know it may be a new concept for some people to hear that, but that, for me, is where we're moving into if we're not already there. In the West, we believe that our form of government, the republic with democracy, is the most enlightened form of politics. It still is trying to control us through the majority making decisions, through the force of the majority of the voters. Another way is of a balanced style called consensus. We're not quite there yet, but I know a few people that are trying to do that on a small level, mainly in intentional communities. We've not yet eliminated the way political leaders can make it to the top by having more money or more friends in high places, as those who know how to talk and twist the truth to their vantage point. When we're living from a low frequency where we don't feel good enough, can't make up our minds, or don't trust ourselves to choose the right course, we let others tell us what to do. We become followers without owning our power. We may not even really be a follower. We may be a leader that doesn't even know they're a leader yet. That's kind of in hiding. Well, we end up electing others who have that same frequency as us. These people want to manipulate us, and when we're not trusting ourselves, We can't even see those who might be trustworthy. We listen to the rhetoric instead of trusting what our heart tells us. When others tell us what we want to hear, because it might be easier doing what they say, like getting something for very little effort, and we're tired, we usually get taken for granted and the program doesn't work. And I'm sure that's probably happened to everyone, whether it be with dieting or money scams, all kinds of things I'm sure you can think of. Friends do it, and we kind of just let it slide by instead of taking responsibility that we created it. There are amazing leaders, whether they be teachers, therapists, artists, doctors. But if we follow blindly if we follow these people blindly, it's only going to bring pain to us. These people are looked up to because they inspire us to do our best for ourselves. They're not greedy or desiring power. They want you to be your own authority, to make your own decisions, to know how to be the best that you can be. And the best leaders aren't looking for followers. On the contrary, they're assisting others to develop their individuality, their creativity, their genius, to express that in the best way for each person. If you are always acting like a victim, blaming others for your life and problems, you'll be constantly bringing these types of people to you to reinforce this belief system. It really takes getting centered and looking at yourself to recognize what we're doing ourselves. And when we do that, and when we can see what's happening, we begin to shift the pattern. It's a law of the universe, like attracts like. You'll be constantly reinforcing this belief. So what if you reinforce the positive belief, knowing that you can be responsible, so you bring other responsible people to you? Perhaps the reason we don't do that is the fear that if this system stops, then the people who are controlling us, if they stop it, if they move into that place of supporting others, they'll be out of a job. What would happen? That there's not really enough is what they believe, nor enough people to be truly supported. And think about it in your own life. You know, if you really help others to do the best that they could be, what would happen to you? We give up our power, our authority to charismatic people. We let ourselves be manipulated by society so we can be seen by others as cool, beautiful, caring. We get manipulated to do more and more and more, but it's our own issue too. If we're like this, we don't have boundaries because we believe we're not good enough on our own. How does one stop this pattern? That's the question. Recognize your own fears and accept yourself. You let go of the story of hierarchy and separation. Needing power keeps this alive. The system of money keeps us in separation. Wanting to have more than others, feeling not good enough because you don't have what others have, that keeps this separation alive. We allow ourselves to be manipulated by the media and advertising, by letting others tell us what we should look like to be cool, what we should wear, smell like, wash our hair and bodies with. We could go down the line because it's endless. We allow ourselves to be manipulated by the game of advertising. This is also a leadership ploy, and people follow it religiously through magazines and television shows that we think are cool, that we think exude the newest thing. And this could be a car, a phone, a computer. It could be a job or even friends. When you begin to see the manipulative pattern that you're accepting, everything slows down. Truth is the most important ingredient. Are you in business to make money or to be of service and share your gifts? What would feel better? Not a question anyone ever asks us. What gifts do you have to share with the world? Does food at a fast food restaurant taste better than the Auntie's restaurant down the street, which has more love and care put into it? Are you threatened when a new business like yours opens up down the street, or a few blocks away? Or do you see it as a motivation to make yours better, to serve people in a new way? We see ourselves as separate so often, as every man for himself, whether personally or in business. Imagine what it would be like if we started thinking collectively. This is what an intentional community is all about, that everyone has something to offer and works together. When we move out of fear of others, of not being good enough, we'll move back into love, which is our first and strongest authority. When we see the power within ourselves, we will become positive and open ourselves to new thoughts and new ideas. When we want to help others, to assist them only to help them have a better life, without an agenda of profit, of only profit behind it, we'll see our lives change. When we shift from the lower frequency of fear into service for the good of all, life will change.